Hello everyone, my name is Wadzanai and I'm your host for the Ember Podcast. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And if you are new here, this is the space where we get to talk about growth, about businesses, about purpose, about becoming the person that God wants us to become. So if you're joining us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button so that we get to grow the Ember community and more people out there get to hear the word and people get to hear the conversations. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. As you can tell, this is the very first one that we're now doing on video. Yay! So we just want to thank God for that. And also today I have a very special guest, a woman whom I adore, whom I honor, whom I think is really growing in this world. So I just want us to welcome, she's a mom, she's a pastor, she's a life coach, she's a content creator, and she is an accountant. So she has so many things that she wants to share with us today. So stay tuned and, be ready to hear more, be ready to learn, and be ready for your growth. Tari, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
I am very, very happy that you joined this. When I had this idea about starting the podcast, you were one of the very few people that I actually told about it. And I am really so happy that you joined us today.
Thank you for having me, Wadza. It's such an honor to be one of your first guests on the Ember Podcast.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think let's just get straight into it. What one small decision changed the direction of your life?
So for the longest time, I've always waited for the perfect moment. I was waiting for that, that time when I think and feel everything is now in place for me to start something, to do something. And I realized, that moment was not coming for me at all. So I just started. And one thing that is greatly moved or that has greatly shifted in the perspective that I used to see things is I just figured consistency is what matters. So currently I'm just choosing consistency over perfection.
Well, I think that is really profound. You've just reminded me of this verse in the book of Ecclesiastes that says, "He who watches over the wind shall not reap." Like when you're waiting for those perfect moments,
yes,
you're waiting for everything to be set in place. But God is just saying, you know what? You're ready. Just
yes,
go.
Just go, yes.
Yeah. So if I were to meet you 10 years ago, what would surprise us about the woman who is sitting right here today?
Okay. How about that? I'm still in the middle of being surprised with the woman that I've actually grown to become, because there is no correlation whatsoever. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
The way I used to think, the things I used to do, I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't tell I will be the woman that I am currently.
Wow, that's good. So before we get into the main conversation, we just want to play a little game that is called Ember or Ash. Yeah. So if I say a statement and if you think it's a good idea, you say it's Ember. But if it's something that you totally do not agree with, you just say it's Ash. Okay. So saving every month.
I think that's Ember.
Okay. Living beyond your means.
Ash.
Totally. I agree with you there.
Yes.
Having multiple income streams.
Ember.
Why would you say that?
Okay. I think it doesn't rain every day. Seasons change. But one thing remains for sure. One thing that is guaranteed is you will need to spend on your needs one day eventually. But the income, we can't say is guaranteed.
We can't say
so when you have multiple streams of income, what you're doing is when things are not moving on well on this side, you have somewhere that you can actually lean on.
All right.
So I think that is very, very important, especially in the current Zimbabwe that we're living in. Nothing is certain, nothing is obvious. So you need somewhere that you can actually lean on in case things go otherwise.
What would you like to say about those people that just rely on their salaries? Like every month, that there's a salary that's coming. And, sometimes we tend to think that our salaries give us security. But when then we begin to talk about having multiple streams of income, like you have a certain side hustle, like we like to call them here in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Like you have a certain side hustle, you have your income on the other side. What would you like to say about that?
Okay. Salaries are good. Salaries give you that it's a definite source of income. I'm going to be getting my 500 every month, and that's good like that. But I think when you focus or when you solely depend on your income, somehow you may end up being bitter. You may end up even being ungrateful for the people who have offered you that opportunity, because salaries have a way of minimizing or limiting the amount of things that we can do. So you find kuti on an average normal family in Zimbabwe, you need something more than 500. In Zimbabwe, ukachinja $100, the next thing that you realize is gone. So when you are focusing on that 500, you feel, maybe I'm not being paid enough. But what you need to do is, on the 500 that you are getting, start saving small, then invest in another stream. That gives you the leverage to, you can actually allocate, my school fees. It comes from this side.
Yeah.
My living expenses, they come from this side. My holidays, they come from this. That way, I think it may not work as well. You may not be that comfortable, but I think you won't be caught off guard.
Wow. She had to dive straight right into it.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. So going on with our game, fear of starting. Is that Ember or Ash?
That's an Ash.
Ignoring your taxes. I know that you're an accountant and you're so much versed in this information.
Okay.
Ignoring taxes.
Yeah, that's an Ash.
Registering your company later on.
That's an Ash.
It's an Ash. Okay.
Yes.
And delegating?
Ember.
Comparison.
Ash.
Reading books?
Ember.
Sleeping?
Ember.
And perfectionism.
Ash.
All right, so as we get straight into our main conversation, we know that God entrusts us with a lot of resources. How should Christians think about money differently?
Okay. I think money is good. The Bible actually mentions that money answereth all things. So it's good that as a Christian, I need to say this out as loud as possible, because there's this perspective that has been going on for so long that maybe, Christianity is this association with struggle. You need to, it's sort of an expression of your Christianity. You need to struggle. It shows humility and all of that. I don't subscribe to that. I think you need money.
That's right, because I've seen, like, let's say when your pastor comes out and he's showing his Lamborghini, showing his Ferrari, people will be like, are you really a man of God?
Yes,
or what?
yes,
Because
yes.
people, I think that being a Christian is, I don't know, is being poor or having just enough, but not to have an excess of it.
Yes.
Well, what would you say?
Yeah, I think we haven't been doing justice in terms of reading our Bible, because if you look or if you research about all the great men that God used, that God worked with, they never struggled with provision. So God wants you to have money. You also want you to have money, because in order for you to show up the way that you have to in your family, in every way, even the church, it needs money.
Who does not like the fine things
it runs on money. But it being the focal or central point of everything that I've just mentioned, there is this tendency to then be, we sort of submit to money. It becomes superior than us. So it has become our master. But I would like for all Christians to consider money just as a tool that God entrusts you with, for you to actually live in a better or a comfortable way. You support His work, you do all of that. So as long as money is not, it's not affecting your decision, there is a way that, when it pertains to money, you are trading your values, you are trading your core beliefs, you are trading everything that you stand for. When you're that person, when money presents itself, you literally lose yourself. you no longer know who you are. It's like, I think that is a total no-no. But having the money, I think it's really good.
I think you've just reminded me. There's someone whom I once heard saying that if you do not know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. If you do not understand the purpose of the money that you have, then you tend to abuse it.
Yes.
And you use it in the wrong ways. But money itself is actually good for us Christians, because we have got a whole lot of things that we need to do, support the ministry, do God's work, and that requires money as well. So thank you so much for that. So as an accountant and as a Christian as well, I really want to understand your perspective on accounting. Is it important? Does God value bookkeeping? Does God even care about budgeting? Or we just live and walk by faith? What is your take on that? What's the importance of accounting and bookkeeping and budgeting as a Christian, or as anyone in general?
Okay. From my personal research, what I've learned, I discovered that God is so big, He's so huge on stewardship. Yes. God is so big on accountability, He's so big on responsibility. So you find that all those are aspects that accounting tries to put into perspective. So you may not, it doesn't require spreadsheets from you, but it's the condition of your heart as you are using the money, as you are investing the money, as you are spending the money, as you are saving the money. So I just think for you to be safe, keep on checking the condition of your heart. What's my motive in doing this? What do I want to, accomplish by doing this? You don't just spend for the sake of spending.
That's good. So how do I get to honor God through my finances?
Okay. One sure way of honoring God through your finances is supporting His work. Okay. God has so much love for His people and His creation. So I think the first way that you can honor that is to support His work, is to support His creation in whatever way that is possible.
All right, thank you so much. Let's get into company registration. I know that you also help businesses. You help small to medium enterprises to register their companies.
Yes.
But I've realized that many, especially small to medium enterprises, they never get to register their companies.
Yes.
Why?
Okay. The belief out there is when you register your company, it's like you are giving an open invite to the tax man to come and
come and grab all your profits and take them.
Everything, you'll be literally left with nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's the mentality behind that notion.
Really?
Yes.
So what would you like to encourage those ones that have just started their businesses? Maybe people think that because my business is small, I have no need to register it.
Okay.
It's not important. So what would you like to tell those people who are just starting out on their businesses?
Okay. So if it's a business that you are really keen on taking serious, scaling it up, you need to register, because unless you register your business, it's not really your own. I know of a lot of people who had great ideas. That's why we have things like copyrights and all of that. There's actually law that governs all those notions, and that security for you to actually own your idea, to own whatever that you have in mind. The first step to doing that legally is registering your company.
So if I haven't registered, it's not mine.
It's not yours. I can copy you anyway, anyhow. I can come to your employees and ask them anything. There are no binding laws or duties or responsibilities. It's like you're operating freelance. It's like you're saying whatever happens, happens. Then number 2, a lot of people don't realize the need for them to be separated from their businesses. As I said earlier on, it's never a straight road in entrepreneurship. There are days when it's just something else. So registering your business protects you from the activities that are happening in your businesses. So let's say everything is going on well, you don't need any protection, right? But there are incidences when you actually, people will come for you. You owe people, you have done, a lot of shenanigans can happen in the operational sector. You need to be separated. You need that. You need your business to be treated as a separate legal entity. You don't need to be, involved in the... It can be a lot. A lot of us can't imagine that happening, but when it does, it will cost you. I've seen houses being attached, properties being attached. And why? It's because your name is written all over the business. Yes. So you need to register your business for that. The third reason is registering your business is sort of it's a license. They call them licenses, right? It's a permit. It gives you access. There are policies that are being implemented day in, day out to support these small to medium enterprises in the economy. And you see, for example, in banks, you see, for example, even with price getting tenders and all of that. You can't secure all of those things when your business you are operating freelance. Yes. So it's also it's an opportunity for you. Banks are literally looking for people. They are looking for people to invest the monies but when you don't have those memorandum of associations, the articles of associations, those are the first requirements that they will ask from you. And they will give you the operational money, the cash that you need to pay for your operations and all. But a lot of us, we are not benefiting from all that because we insist on staying like this. I'd rather come to you and say, can I have $1,000? And some of these people that we're asking this $1,000 will say, yet you could be doing your things discreetly, well protected and well secured.
Wow, that's really a lot to take in. So maybe a person has just started their business and they are still new to all of these things.
Yes.
What would be the first thing that they need to register, or what are the processes like? How are they supposed to, what's the next step? How do I start the registration process? Like I now have my money, I have my capital, and I've just started this business and I'm really seeing a very big picture, it's a very bright picture. But how do I start?
Okay. For a lot of people in Zimbabwe of late, they've been coming through agencies. You're saying, I'm also into company registry and all of that. And it's not even much. From as little as $150, you can have your company registered. Yes.
So you just need to do it through an agent.
Like
yourself.
Like myself. You could go and join the queues and all of that, but it's just a longer route.
Okay, so how much money should someone realistically have before registration? How complicated is the process anyway? Or if you can tell us, like, what are some of the requirements that are needed so that I can start this process?
Okay. You just, it's not even much. You just need the company directors, you just need this registration fees, and you just need a company name.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question that I think many Zimbabweans out there would love to know about. If I have my business where probably I just sell a couple of things that I found, maybe I'm selling it on Instagram, I'm selling it on WhatsApp or through Facebook Marketplace. Is that a business?
Yes.
Does it need registration?
Oh, it then depends with with the overall picture that you have in mind. If you just want to play small, good for you. You can play like that. But if you're someone who really need to take this to something big, I think registration is the way to go.
It's the way to go.
Yes.
Okay, let's dig a little bit deeper into accounting. What's that one mistake that almost every SME seems to be making when it comes to accounting?
Okay. I've seen a lot of business owners mixing their personal operations or affair with the business affairs. What do I mean by this? I mean, you have your business and you have this amount that you've set aside. This is for the business, right? And something happens. You go and dip back in your personal. Yes, you pour it in the business. You need to pay this one salary. You go and take. So this creates for a lot of business owners, it creates an illusion of success, because remember, when you're not really versed with figures, you don't really feel the impact, because usually these are small amounts, so you don't really feel them. So at the end of the day, when you are now calculating on how much you would have gotten from that, you're thinking the business sustained itself, when in actual fact you are the one sustaining the business.
All right. As a pastor, do you think that Christians sometimes separate their faith from how they do their businesses?
Yes, I think we do that a lot. I've seen a lot of compromise in the business world. You have issues like corruption. Yeah, that happens day in, day out. And I don't think it's consistent with the faith. You know, council yauya my papers are copy. Say, I will give you $10 for lunch. I've seen even in the types of goods or services that we actually provide, there are things that when you look at them, you're like, oh, are you really doing this as a Christian? Do you want to be the reason why maybe there is child trafficking going on somewhere where people are getting drunk, they're getting violent and all of that? Those are really shady areas for Christians to be operating in. But I think because of desperation and the economic situation, you know, there's been a lot of compromise. So
I think I tend to agree with you, because there are certain moments where you get to hear that this bar is actually owned by a pastor, is actually owned by a Christian, and yet that very same person doesn't even drink alcohol. So you'll be like, why then are you even opening a bar if you, it's like you're promoting the use of alcohol, yet you yourself, you say, I'm being guided by principles that do not allow me to drink alcohol and stuff like that.
There's been a lot of compromising going on.
So what business principle do you think churches should actually teach more?
I think churches should focus more on excellence. You know, an average Christian-owned business is not excellent. It's not excellent. We operate anyhow, then hope prayer covers everything.
And fasting too.
Yes, and fasting. We rebuke it, we bind it. You know, you lost making spirits. But I don't think it's really like that. We need to invest in getting business strategies. We need to invest in getting knowledge, wisdom, even guidance in the areas that we are really working on. Let's be professionals. It's good that we have this covering, this spiritual covering, but let it be an icing on the top. Not kuti it becomes the foundational thing or a basis of our operations. I've seen a lot of businesses just scatter because of that. And at the end of the day, we end up blaming God. We think God is forsaking us and all of that. But we really need to be we need to be diligent as Christians. You know, Jesus actually says we should be wise as serpents. So he actually knows there's something that we can learn from the world. And apparently that's excellence. Those guys know how to show up and take things to World Cup. Yes, I think we need more of that in Christian businesses.
I think you're actually right on that, because I work as a marketer, and one of the things that really draws my attention are words, especially those that businesses tend to use. And you know, you can quickly tell that this business belongs to a Christian because of the name that the company has been given. You see somebody goes and reads the Bible and sees, oh, there's a Mephibosheth in the Bible, and the next thing, the company is called Mephibosheth Investment. It's actually called Mephibosheth Investments, or Abraham type of a business, you know, or Divine Investments, or Blessing Company. You know, you can quickly tell that this business is from a Christian. I'm not saying you should separate your spirituality from how you run your business, but there are a whole lot of other things that you should consider, like your target audience. If I come and I say my company is called Mephibosheth, who is going to even know how to pronounce the name, or what does it even mean in the business circle? How does it relate to what you're actually doing? So sometimes we just take our spirituality, we do not even consider the target audience. Is my market going to understand this? What does it mean? Does it align with the type of business that I am in? So I think those are some of the things that as Christians, people really need to learn. Yes, I have a business plan. Probably it's actually from God, and probably God has even given you the capital to start it. But it doesn't mean that every name has got to have spiritual connotations. If it still aligns with your business, I think
good.
You can take it. But some of these things are things that we actually need to take a look at. So my next question is, has there ever been a season where you think that businesses actually need more faith than finances?
Yes, I think so. Especially for startups. You know, when a lot of these businesses started, nothing was looking good on paper. Nothing was looking good on paper, and it just took one leap of faith for things to. You never know how things will work out, and until you start working on those things. So I think when you're starting, you need a lot of faith, more than the finances. Yes, and I also think when offers come, when opportunities come, I think you need to. Finances are good, but you need to consider your core values. You need to what does really God expect from me? There are opportunities that will come along the way because people are watching you out there, and there are people who are going to come and want to collaborate with you. But does it align with what God said or is saying about your life, your direction, and all of that? I think faith needs to take a higher standing on terms like that.
Because I think this also brings in the issue of your purpose and the issue of your vision, not just going with where the wind is going, because especially where you do not really have a stable economy, there are a whole lot of things that just come, businesses that are for that particular moment, and you know, somebody comes and says, ndikuita zvemabhero, you know, ndikuita zvemabhero zviri kundifaira, and the next thing you're also hopping into that trend. But is it for you, and does it align? So what advice would you like to give to the woman who is afraid to start?
I'd say just start. Stop overthinking it. Start where you are with what you have. God doesn't call the qualified, rather he qualifies the called. Varipo ivava ndo vanotoita zviri kuda kuitwa, saka just be there, just start. All the half of the workload is just in starting, and you find everything will just follow through.
I think that is really practical advice. It has really reminded me of how I started this podcast. I honestly had this really perfect picture in a very nice studio with 8K cameras and you know, the most expensive equipment. And in a way I really felt that God was saying, you know what, you just need to go Wadza, just start with where you have, with what you have, and what I've given you is sufficient at the moment. And if you check the very first episodes, it's just on audio, but look at where we are now. You know, God will keep, he will provide, and as we improve as well, things just start coming together one by one, bit by bit. So I think that's really practical advice, that start with what you have.
Yes, you need to start, because the problem is a lot of us, we undermine ourselves. You know, I was as I'm following through your those audio podcasts of yours, I'm like, you know, these are such relatable conversations. We have these thoughts in our heads, but we can't put words to them. You know, I'm feeling somehow, but I don't know how to actually say this is what I. So as I'm listening to your audio, I'm like,
Yes.
This is the thing. This is the thing. So, you think you're just recording audios, right? But to someone, it's you never know. You can't imagine the impact that you are making. So the devil traps us in this cycle of, who will listen, who will say this, I don't have the name, I don't have the equipment, I don't have, but someone is waiting out there. Someone is stuck out there. People need people who can relate to them, people who can understand them, people who can help them understand themselves. So I think you're actually doing a great work.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And
people are actually waiting for that service that you keep postponing. You think that is not important, but somebody's actually waiting for that service.
Yes. Even on my TikTok, I was talking to my husband this other day. I was like, I only got 30 likes. I have 500 views and it's only 30 likes. And he's like, can you imagine a building full of 30 people? These 30 likes actually mean 30 people are sitting there saying,
and it's an impact.
It's an impact. But, we tend to downplay and minimize all of these things, and it doesn't do us any good.
Really, that's really true. So this moment is called Pass the Ember. Yes. If you could give one ember to someone, one piece of advice to someone who's trying to build a meaningful life, what would you say?
I would say find your purpose. I think a lot of us, we underestimate, we downplay the power of purpose. I've grown to understand that in your purpose lies your sustenance. It lies your provision. Everything that you want to actually make out of your life, it's all hidden inside your purpose. For a lot of people, there is the person that I think I am. There is the person that I am. Then there is a person that God wants me to be. So this process of reconciling all these visions of me into that concrete thing, I think it will give that meaning that you are looking for in your life. And sadly, for a lot of us, it's not something that you can just do on your own. You need to have support systems. You need to have wells of knowledge and wisdom. It's a lot of work. And a lot of us, we are reluctant. We think it will just happen on its own. I hate to break this to you. There is work to be done. For a lot of us in relationships, in businesses, in whatever sphere of life that you find yourself to be in, you need to get as much knowledge, wisdom, and guidance as possible. A lot of problems that you are currently facing in the world, it's not because it's meant to be like this, but it's because there is a discrepancy between what God intends for us and what we think He intends for us. So we tend to settle. A lot of us are settling at lower levels that God never saw us settling for. I'm sure when He's looking down at us, He's like, what
are you doing?
What are you doing there? Because He has this broader picture for us. But we tend to get our mojo, our inspirations from entirely wrong things and
social
perspectives.
Media.
Yes. So you end up, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, a lot of people are suffering identity crisis right now. Someone doesn't really know, who am I? What do I stand for? What do I say yes to? What do I say no to on a normal business day? So even with a lot of us, we are just moving with the whatever comes, but I'm not looking into the broader picture. So this is just a call to everyone out there, really invest in discovering your purpose. What does God say about you? Not what does Tari say about you, not what does Waza say about you. What does God say about you? I think that's my ember for the day.
That's a really big, deep ember, fiery ember, if I can say. That was really deep. And yes, I think that sometimes we tend to neglect our purposes, but we really need to give it a lot of time, discovering what God wants us to become and do the things that God intends us to do. It's been such a lovely time having you on the Ember Podcast. And I'm really hoping we can get to have as many more episodes where you come and share your wisdom, share your embers with us. And I've really been blessed having you here. Tari, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to the Ember Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Waza.
It has really been insightful talking about how to register your company, how to just do your business, the importance of accounting. I think it's really such an important conversation, especially for our audience out there. And if you have been a part of today's episode, I just want to say, if you have been thinking about starting that business, if you've been thinking about registering that company, if you've just been thinking about growing that dream that you have, this is your sign to actually start. There's a whole lot of things. The whole world is waiting for you to see what you have to offer. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming to today's episodes. Don't forget to always hit the subscribe button, and so that we get to grow the Ember community. And join us in our next coming episode. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Bye.